Hi, this is Mail Online. I'm Anna from Mail Online London. We are in Hampstead at the moment, and I am with Saye. Now, Saye runs a flower shop in Hampstead, and the shop is called Galton. And we're going to be chatting to Saye about how to keep your flowers fresh for as long as possible as it gets sunny. There's a customer coming in now. It's very busy. It gets really busy during this time, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it does.
We're very fortunate with our location. Very, very nice customer, very, very busy road. And yes.
Have you noticed a big difference because of the weather? Obviously, it's a lot hotter, so people are coming in and ordering flowers.
Well, generally they come out more than a normal time when the weather is quite nice. And we had a very, very busy weekend this week. And with flowers, you never know actually what day you will be busier than the other. You have to be always ready for a customer. And I always believe you either open your shop for public or you close. And if you're open, you have to be as busy as possible and as full as possible. And it's funny, when your shop is fuller, you seem to be more busier and you draw everybody's attention.
Because obviously people walk through a really pretty
Yes.
street like this. The street is really kind of 1950s, really pretty small buildings and shops. So obviously when people walk past, they look inside and they think, look at flowers. Yeah. And we basically were talking to Saye because we ran an article on how to preserve flowers and keep them fresh for as long as possible. So it'd be really, really interesting to talk to a flower businesswoman and kind of work out how you keep a bunch of flowers around for as long as possible, especially if they're quite expensive.
Flowers is like your child. You have to look after it and you have to maintain it very well. But particularly spring and summer flowers, they are less long-lasting, if you want to say, than exotic flowers. Because the exotic you can keep it 10 days to 2 weeks.
Okay.
Depends on what they are, how you make them, how to group them, all sort of reason. But as a spring flowers or summer flowers like peonies, like hydrangea, like sweet pea, like lilac, all these flowers, I would say, they last between 5 to 7 days. Having said that, we sometimes will have a comment from our customer to say, oh, my flowers lasted, you said to me it's 5 or 6 days, but it's nearly 10 days and they're absolutely fine. But my main thing about flowers, and I keep telling all my staff, it's the minute you receive your flowers, you have to maintain it immediately.
Okay.
By slicing them. Maybe at home it will be difficult to slice it with knife because not everybody are comfortable using knife. But definitely a florist scissor, not a normal scissor. Because what you have to remember, you can't damage your stem. And no matter how much your flowers are fresh, by damaging them or by not giving them food and water immediately, they won't last. Simple as that. And it's common sense. You can understand it, what is the reason behind the conversation. But when we receive our flowers, first of all, we receive our flowers every single day from Holland directly.
From Holland?
Yes, we have an English supplier as well, which is a lovely, lovely man, and he goes to our English market every single day, and he always top up our shop when we need it. But we have a direct supply from Dutch supplier.
What is that? Do they want?
For a few reasons. First of all, every type of flowers, they go to Holland from all over the world. Because some countries, they are better grower for the 1 or 2 type of flower or more type of flower on that particular climate and how do they grow. But it's a place to transport all in one, and from that place again it will go absolutely everywhere. So for flowers it's Holland, and they are always leading florist, supplier, always. I would think they are one of the best. And for other reason is the market in here, or any market in other side of wall, they have the Dutch supplier to come from Holland and distribute the flowers in the market.
I see.
So it's much easier for florists, particularly like us, which we buy a very, very large scheme of flowers to get it directly from Holland, for timing, for the freshness, and also for the price as well, because it's one hand cut in between. So there are all sorts of elements. That's why we use it.
Okay. And you'd say, we were just talking about how to keep flowers fresh, and we were talking about how they came from Holland, and Saya was saying that the best way to keep them fresh is the initial stages, so cutting them, as you said, making sure they're in fresh water. One of our articles, just to recap, we're in Mail Online. I'm Anna from Mail Online London. I'm speaking to Saya. We are in Hampstead, in a really pretty street, and we're talking about preserving flowers. And there was an article in Mail Online recently that said to preserve flowers, you could try out all these kind of scientific tricks, if you like, so getting degassed air and putting the flowers in degassed air. Would you recommend doing that?
Maybe, yes, but that is not something that me as a florist or you as a consumer, you can do it easily. No, we buy our preserved flowers from a company which they have a proper equipment to do so. Because what it is with preserve, you have to keep the coloring the same color, and if you go wrong, your white rose, it will become to a dusty cream. So between keeping them fresh, having them preserved, or doing a dry out of the flowers, there are completely a few different ways of doing it. The preserved one we are not doing, because I don't know exactly how it works, I'm not recommending it to a normal customer. With the drying, some of particular flowers like green hydrangea, particularly when it comes as an antique color, they will dry very, very nicely. They stay forever. Roses, you can dry it by having the rose enjoying, but before go into the soft and funny look, before that, so let them to still have their life, take it out of the vase, wrap them and put upside down.
Have you got any roses here you can show us? While
Yeah,
we're
all of the roses. All of the white roses, you can do it with roses, you can do with this pink roses, you can do with the red one. They all, after maybe 5 or 6 days, you can hang them like that and let them to dry naturally.
And I'm kind of looking around, and aside from the science, which is really interesting, I'm kind of looking at all the colours and how you put everything around quite artistically, I think. It all just looks so beautiful. And do you think that's really important when you buy your flowers to arrange them in
very, very much?
patterns?
I always believe our shop is one of the leading shop in floristry, like branding. It's very, very important. If you go, for example, I always compare ourselves with some of the very, very well known in fashion, like Louis Vuitton, Chanel. When you go to those shops, of course, you must like the design, and you will be a client of there to go. But what they do for you, which is as a consumer is very important, they put things together, and they already make your life a bit easier to choose. You may, for example, go for a jacket with a skirt and not with trousers. They make your life easy. I do exactly the same in our shop.
So
I put the flowers together. Yes.
So it's an art as much as it is breeding the flowers.
Exactly.
And I think that's something that is really, really important.
Yes, it is.
And just to recap, we are Mail Online, and we're talking to Saya, and we're talking about how she artistically gathers all these beautiful flowers that we see in the shop, and gets them together and preserves them. But I wanted to ask, do you think that there is a different kind of flower for a different kind of person? Do you think everyone has their own kind of flower to fit their personality?
They do. They do. For example, I can start it from myself. I love sweet pea. Sweet pea is my favorite flowers, and we have it in the shop in here. And having said that, I start to say we buy all our flowers from Holland, but sweet pea, the English supplier and English grower, is much better than the Dutch one.
Oh, is it?
They last much longer, the stem are much longer, and the flowers much stronger. So me as a person,
So you're quite a strong person then, homegrown, strong person.
The flowers is very soft.
Okay.
The flowers are very, very soft, very, very nice scent, not very strong one. My other favorite flowers is peonies this time of year, which is absolutely beautiful. It comes in all different color. It's a wedding flowers. People, they would love to use it for wedding bouquet.
It looks very kind of like the big face, very kind of wedding style, really, really pretty.
Yes, people, they know what they like. Some people, they love roses. Some people, they hate roses. And some people, they like exotic flowers, particularly people when they come from South Africa,
They
or
kind of crave
Malaysia.
that exotic look.
Yes, and they would like now those sort of dendrobium orchid, oncidium, tropical pinhead.
You got any orchids in here?
We have orchid. I don't have the exotic one, but we have a slipper orchid in here.
Ah, wow. So they grow on their own.
Yes, we have Phalaenopsis over there. We today it was one of those days which a lot of orchid had to leave the shop for our contract. But we also have beautiful Vanda orchid, which they are coming in white, pink, very, very dark, lilac and purple. That is quite a nice orchid. And with orchid, there are coming a few different type of orchid, but Phalaenopsis is all year round. You can get it absolutely any time. But Cymbidium, more or less, you will have it in a cool time of year in our country. Dendrobium the same, in a coolish time rather than a very, very hot. But Phalaenopsis is a very, very tough orchid, and you can get it absolutely all year round.
Well, I'm sure people would love to. Are there any comments coming in?
Yeah, well, one thing we've heard quite regularly is the idea that if you put aspirin in the water, that helps the flowers.
Not all of the flowers, but when I said we always, when we receive our flowers, we feed them. We use Chrysal, it's a liquid food, and we definitely on the first day of arrival we feed them. And all fresh flowers, they will have the most drink on the first 24 hours. So if you do it on the day which you receive as a florist, then your flowers will last longer and they will adapt to the environment better when it gets to client's home. But for example, for roses, yes, they say aspirin, I heard, and we give them food, the sachet of food. I do not particularly believe to give those food to a client to put it in vase, because sometimes it gets the vase dirty, smelly. But I would think as a professionist, if you do it in our shop or any florist in their shop, and then let them to leave the shop, it will do exactly the same job. For some of the particular flowers like white hydrangea, or peonies or delphinium, we also use a spray called Gloriosa. So we spray the flowers when we make it.
What is Gloriosa? Can you buy it from your regular shop, or is it?
You can definitely buy it from us. You can buy it from any garden center, I believe. It's not something particularly you can buy it in the supermarket. No.
So you'd have to go to a specialist florist.
Exactly, and ask for the Gloriosa. And that one for not putting it in water, but by spraying it the top. Roses, most of the flowers, apart from anthurium or exotic, which they don't need anyway, those flowers they would like to, and as it said, it just preserve the petal on top, which is quite, keeping them look very, very fresh. And with the food inside. So, as I said, they do like to be maintained very well, and the first 24 hours is the best time for the fresh flowers.
And what do you think the biggest mistake is? So obviously you have customers coming in and buying your flowers all the time, they're beautiful, why wouldn't they? But what would you say the biggest mistake was when it comes to like losing freshness, just not bothering to water them, be lazy?
What I always say, and what I always say to my customer and also my staff, we are here to educate our customer. I take my job very, very seriously. Just being a florist is not my job. Being a professional florist and explaining it, every single reason of why you are doing it is important. And people sometimes they don't understand. They come and they see the beauty of the flowers and it's all clean.
Yeah.
They don't know how much hard
It's
work.
like a pet, isn't it? You just go and see something really cute or really pretty, and then you just.
But then when you have it at home, then you have to look after it properly.
Yeah.
What I always say is, when we sell our flowers, we normally make it like a little aqua pack.
Yeah.
With a very, very little amount of water in the package. Of course, it goes with our bag and the rest of it. But the reason behind that, and some people they say, oh, don't put water, I'll just go home in 2 hours. 2 hours.
Leave it in the back of the car.
And when they are going to put it in a vase, they think, I bought it from florist, she cut it. So what they do, they put it straight away in a vase, but the stem, they all got dry already, and no matter how fresh it is, you don't allow the stem to drink water, because you are having a dead skin and putting it in water doesn't do anything. And then after 2 hours, the head are
Flopped over already.
So, exactly. But when you explain it to your customer to say that is the reason, and when you got home, you don't need to recut it again because already the stem are moist and they were in water. You just unpack your flower and straight away put it in a vase. And they do, no matter now, it's 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And that is the way you educate your customer, and they understand. Yes, that is it's common sense. So the flowers need, when they receive it, if they are not in water, they need to be cut. Definitely, then putting it in a vase. So that is one thing which everybody needs to remember.
And another question we've had is how many times you should change the water.
Again, if your water is dirty and smelly, depends on the environment of the room. Sometimes it is even winter, but your room is very, very warm. So the water gets much warmer than normal. And again, people maybe they don't notice, they put it very near to central heating. So you are taking the life of your flowers less and less. If the water is dirty, smelly, change it. Change it as often as you can. But if the water is nice and still clear and you like the look of it, just tip it up. You don't need to change it all the time. Sometimes the flowers, they would prefer to stay with their water and just be adding with the fresh cold water into.
And at the moment we've obviously got beautiful sunshine outside, but I guess can that be a bit of a problem for the flowers if you leave them out in the sun?
Oh, definitely. If it's out in the sun or in the windowsill, which it gets direct sunlight, yes. Flowers, you can't treat the flowers like plant. The plant, they do like light, even if it's direct. But again, I don't want to go through a lot of details. Some of them, they don't like a direct one. But flowers, they don't like direct sunlight. Flowers, they need a fresh, cool water. So as long as you keep, and they don't need light. Some people, they say, oh, my house doesn't have that much light, so I can't have fresh flowers. No, your fresh flowers is already have been cut. They don't have any root, and they just need to be in a fresh, cool water. And as long as you can keep that freshness and that moist, they're quite happy. But as I said, the weather is hot, and if they want it to be changed, they can change it.
Now I have a question. Obviously, it's coming up to those kind of summer wedding situations where people
That's
want
like
big.
no, it's to be comfortable, yeah.
We're coming up to this like wedding situation where people are having these big, extravagant summer weddings. What's the strangest request you've ever had when it comes